Hey guys, Julie here. So I didn't get to make a video last week. It's because, quite frankly, it was just a little bit too cold. Alright. Okay, now it's better. Alright. So, yeah, I didn't make a video last week because it was a little bit too cold to ride the bike. And it kind of comes up to the discussion for today is how cold is too cold to ride a bike? I guess it's all personal for each person. But for me, I cut it off at around the 50s or below the 50s. So right now today is 56, but last week it was in the 40s and sometimes even in the 30s and in the lower 50s at the high of the day. So that's just a little bit too cold for me, and just a personal preference. The other thing that you have to consider too is sorry about the slipper here, but the camera is in part of my hoodie right here. But anyway, the other thing you have to consider is actually the performance from the cold weather. And right now it's not that cold enough where it actually affects it, but when it's in the 40s and the 30s, it actually does affect the capacity of the bike. And that's why, apart from the fact that it's not pleasant to ride in, here I'm going a little bit faster. It's actually hard to see the LCD, but I'm going like 26, 27. Of course, I'm going down the hill at the moment, like 32 here. Um, yeah, so it does affect the performance of the bike, and that's one thing you have to consider. It's not a big deal, especially with a bigger battery like this. There's no problem whatsoever. But if you have a smaller battery, that is something that you have to consider. In the sense that it's going to affect the performance. Um, yeah. So the other thing that changed in the bike is I'm actually on the lower cog on the pedal cranks or the pedal cranks. And the reason why is the rear chain, the drive chain is actually a little bit too loose on the 44. This is a little bit too loose, so it tends to want to jump down to the smaller cog, just like a 36, I think. And between the 36 and the 44 is a huge difference in speed. Um, and there's a couple, and yeah, so the thing is, when it was on the 44, if there was like a huge bump, sometimes it would jump the chain back down to 36, or worse, it'll get caught in you know, in the axle and not do anything at all. So right now I'm just trying. I've been trying out for about 2 weeks on the 36, and it's a lot slower. Um, due to the RPMs, because I'm only in a 52-volt battery. So I'm generally in the mid 20s. So here I'm actually one of the good things is that because it's a smaller cog and the RPMs are slower, I don't have to control the throttle as much. So what I mean by that is, I'm not kind of like finding the right balance of throttle and speed. Here I'm actually pulling back throttle wide open, and I'm using the gears to determine the speed. So I know at first gear I'm like at 15, 17. Second gear, 20. Third gear, 20, 22, and then so forth. So whatever speed I like, I just put it in that speed and I just go wide open. Um, after getting up to speed. So there's no guessing what the speed is, and it's supposedly a little bit better on the actual gears and stuff. It's obviously because of slow cog is not grunting as much or lugging as much when you start to spool up to the high RPMs, to the max RPMs. So I guess that's good. Also here, doing my typical Dollar Tree run, but here I'm actually on the bike trails because it's the middle of the day. So I tried to record a video going to Dollar Tree. There's basically two people on the trails. There's a little bit more here now, so whenever I see someone on trails, I just kind of ease off the throttle and slow down a little bit. I generally during the summer I don't ride on the trails because there's just so many people, but it's nice to ride on trails. And the reason why is I'm wide open, and I could do that without fear, not fear, or without like trepidation, because there's really no giant cracks and bumps and different elevate or different levels in the road that you find in the roads here in Wisconsin, and that makes for such a smooth ride. Also, the other thing here is I need to pump up the tires a little bit more too, so that could have affected the speed as well. But yeah, yeah, it's much more fun to ride on the trails here. It's you don't have to deal with traffic. But again, I am going a little bit fast. Obviously, there's no one on the trails. If there's someone I see, I slow down. Like here, if someone passing me, I'm slowing down a lot. I'm back down towards normal speeds. And again, if you're on a road bike and you know what you're doing and you're a good rider, you're a strong rider, you actually could be going my speeds because again, this is on the lower cog. It's a 52 volt RPMs, and it's going to really be into the mid 20s, lower 20s to mid 20s most of the time. So you're a strong rider. You can definitely keep up with me. Um, but that being said, yeah, it's just very enjoyable, this ride. It's still a little bit, so right now, I think this is the lower range of what I'm willing to ride in. I think the rest of this week is supposed to warm up again. It's about the beginning of October. I'm hoping to ride until the beginning of November, if not later. So we're hoping the weather holds. And yeah, so I got the balance leads or the wire leads for the cell checkers. So I'm gonna probably wire that up, not this week, but maybe into next week, because I want to enjoy the bike a little bit more. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take me to. It shouldn't take me too long to wire up, but then I need to put it all back together, and obviously that's gonna be a big hassle. But I do need to do that because I have no idea what the cells are at. There's no BMS on this one. I did check the voltage between the two packs, and they're pretty much the same. There's like 0.1 volt difference. Um, to me, that seems pretty good because if there was a weak cell or anything like that, the voltage would be a lot different between the two. Unless there's a weak cell in both the packs, then obviously I won't be able to detect that. But yeah, that's kind of rare to have for that to happen. So I believe most of the cells are pretty close together. Again, I don't really charge it all with bow, and I also don't right now I don't discharge it below a certain threshold too. And right here, the voltage is actually at that threshold where I'm going to. So it's like a 45. So it's like a 50% state of charge is kind of the minimum. So I want to stay between 75% and 50%. So once it hits 50%, I'm going to charge it back up to at least 65%, and go from there. Because I want the draw to not drop below 50 volts, which on a 52 volt e-bike is the nominal voltage. Um, if that makes sense. So basically, I'm saying that none of the cells should be dropping below its nominal voltage. And of course, I don't charge to full as well. And anyway, so yeah, so here's a huge difference. So now I'm actually on the road. You can see like the bumps. I'm going a lot slower. Um, Traffic coming by. I don't really mind the traffic. It's just the bumps and the elevation change, or the bumps and the level changes, and then bump here, bump here, bump here. Cracks here. Divots here. It's just yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying to ride. I mean that's why I really need. That's why it's important to have. So now I understand why people pay good money for good e-bikes because the design does matter. Like, I don't like the bumps and I also don't like it because it rattles around the battery, and I'm not sure how the battery. Okay, next year I'm going to make sure the battery is 100%. Okay, so right now it's not at 100%, not exactly how I want it. But again, there's only a month left of the season or less, and I'm not gonna work on the battery for 2 weeks just to ride it for 2 weeks or 1 week. So next year I'll definitely make sure the battery is 100% in terms of like bump resistance. Everything is 100%. The other thing is like I was looking at the voltmeter and the power usage, and I'm using a lot of power just to go not that fast. And of course, between like all these systems, there's some loss, right? Efficiency loss, probably like 10-20%. So I'm probably even using a little bit more than that. Well, I'm using that certain amount of power, but it's not getting me to the speeds that I thought. So like 1,000 watts, I'm actually going like 25, which I should be going 30 on a regular bike. So the tires themselves were a little bit low. That might be part of it. And maybe in the spring I'll switch the tires out from like semi knobby or low knobbies to just full road extreme tires because I don't actually go off road a lot, obviously because of the battery thing. Um, yeah, I could do that. Well, and I could also change bikes too. What I really want to do is get like a Super 73s, one of those retro bike looking things. The things with like the huge mid space in the mid, and just put a whole bunch of batteries in there. Like maybe right now I have like 3 kilowatts. Maybe put a 6 kilowatt hour battery in there. That would be pretty awesome. And of course I'm using their system. I You definitely need dual shocks. Like it's just painful about it. This one here, it's not as bad because I'm actually on the trail, but for road riding with kind of the conditions of the road here, and not all the roads here are that bad. Some of them are just bad. 50% of them are probably like that. Maybe they're more 50%, like maybe like 65%. Those 2/3 are what I consider like painful. So here, obviously here dogs I'm slowing down pretty much almost to walking pace, and then I'm gonna speed up afterwards. Because obviously I don't like there are e-bikes on these trails when I ride my road bike, and I don't mind them at all. I actually love to race against them and see if I can keep up with them. But some people do have issues with e-bikes and like motorized vehicles and all that. It's not a motorized vehicle, but I think it's motorized. So I just try to be a little bit mindful of that. Yeah, but first day riding after like about a week and a half of just cold weather where you can't really ride. Well, I don't really want to ride. So yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the ride. I make this turn here, head back up. Yeah, this is really so today was really nice and bright. It's kind of windy, but not too windy. It's just windy in Wisconsin most of the time. So now I'm enjoying this. That's why I love bikes. Obviously tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice too, so I'll ride the bike to work. Um, yeah, but the last couple of days I haven't been able to ride a bike to work, obviously. It's a little bit too cold and rainy and whatnot. So yeah, and I'm not sure if I want to keep it on this pedal pause at the moment. I am going pretty slow, but so ideally what I should do is take the chain off and then remove one of the links. But it's at the point where it's it still really could stay. Either I need to adjust the tensioner, which I can't because it's a regular bike tensioner, or add another tensioner to it. But the chain's at a point where it's hard to remove and relink one link because it's just not quite there yet in terms of the slack, if that makes sense. But it's enough slack for this bike where it can jump sometimes. So anyway, that's the video. Hope everyone's doing well.